If you want peace, shut up and eliminate these 13 things. Have you ever wondered why peace feels so far, even when your life seems fine? Have you ever silenced the world around you, only to find that the real noise was inside your own head? And have you ever considered that maybe peace isn't something to chase, but something you uncover when you learn to let go? This is where Stoicism enters, not with shouts but with silence, not with more, but with less, not with the need to fix, but with the courage to eliminate. Always wanting to be right. Let go of the ego's addiction. There's a quiet war happening inside us, the war between being right and being at peace. We argue, we correct, we try to dominate conversations. Not always because we're sure, but because our ego is terrified of being wrong. The Stoic asks, what is truly gained when you win a debate but lose your inner stillness? Does it matter if you prove someone wrong? If you walk away bitter, tense and small? Epictetus taught, it is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. Which means if your mind is full of the need to be right, it has no space to grow. For the next 90 days, try this. When someone disagrees with you, pause. Don't react. Don't defend. Just ask yourself, do I need to be right? Or do I need to be free? Peace isn't about agreeing with everyone. It's about no longer needing to prove anything. Let go of being right. Hold on to being aligned, because one keeps your voice loud, the other keeps your soul quiet. Comparing yourself to others. Walk your own path without distraction. There's no faster way to lose yourself than to obsess over someone else's lane, their house, their body, their followers, their fame. Comparison is a thief, not just of joy, but of presence. Because while you're watching them, your life is passing you by. The Stoic doesn't waste energy measuring shadows. They measure alignment. Marcus Aurelius never said, be better than others. He said, be better than who you were yesterday. Ask yourself, what does their success really take from you? Nothing, unless you decide it does. So instead of envy, practice admiration. Turn comparison into inspiration, not imitation. And remember, what you see online is not someone's full life. It's their highlight reel. The only fair metric is your own growth. Not how fast, not how loud, but how true. Stop chasing someone else's definition of success. Start walking your path, fully present, fully free. The desire for absolute control. Surrender to what isn't yours. Control feels safe. It gives us the illusion that if we just manage every variable, we'll stay safe, happy, and ahead. But the Stoic knows, most of life is not in your hands. You can't control other people's emotions. You can't control the weather. You can't control the traffic, the economy, or how someone receives your truth. And the more you try, the more exhausted, bitter, and frustrated you become. Epictetus taught, some things are up to us, and some things are not. Peace begins the moment you accept that distinction. For the next 90 days, when you feel anxiety rise, unpause. Ask yourself, is this in my control? If it is, take action. If it isn't, let it go. Not with weakness, but with wisdom. You don't become powerless when you surrender control. You become powerful because now your energy isn't scattered. It's focused on what matters, on what's yours, on what you can actually shape. Control less. Trust more. Release the need to own everything, and you'll finally own yourself. Overthinking everything. Clarity doesn't live in circles. The mind loves to spin, replay, rehearse, rethink. It convinces you that if you just keep thinking, you'll finally feel certain, finally feel safe. But the Stoic knows, clarity does not come from endless thinking. It comes from aligned action. Seneca warned, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality." Overthinking is a disguise. It looks like preparation, but often it's procrastination. It looks like being careful, but truly it's a way to avoid responsibility for moving forward. You don't need 20 steps. You need one quiet decision, one breath of courage, one moment where you say, "I've thought enough. It's time to live." For the next 90 days, practice making decisions with less drama. Gather what matters. Reflect briefly. Then choose, firmly, calmly, like a Stoic. And when doubt tries to pull you back into that old loop, say this: "My peace is worth more than one more mental rehearsal." Because overthinking isn't wisdom. It's noise in disguise. Being addicted to approval. Let the world think what it will. We all want to be liked. But when your peace depends on the opinions of others, you've handed your life over to them. The Stoic path is not about arrogance. It's about internal grounding. It's about knowing who you are without needing someone to agree. Marcus Aurelius put it simply, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." That's the trap. You dress for them, you speak for them, you shape your choices, not around what's true but what's likable. And in doing so, you lose yourself. So for the next 90 days, let this be your quiet mantra. I don't need to be understood. I need to be in integrity. Approval is unstable. People change their minds. Crowds cheer one day and crucify the next. But integrity? That's yours forever. Let them think what they will. Your soul is not up for public debate. Multitasking. Instead of being present, do less, but with fullness. Modern life celebrates multitasking, as if juggling 10 things badly is a virtue, but the Stoic knows, peace is found in presence. You cannot live your life well if you're never in it. When you eat, be with the food. When you listen, actually listen. When you rest, rest. And when you speak, do it with both feet planted in the now. Multitasking splits the mind. It scatters your spirit, and it drains your energy faster than any physical labor ever could. Seneca said, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere." For the next 90 days, replace multitasking with intentional focus. Choose one thing. Give it your full awareness. Then move to the next. You'll find, paradoxically, that you do more with less. Because your energy is no longer fractured. Your spirit is no longer divided. You don't need more time. You need more presence in the time you already have. do less, feel deeper, live fuller. Speaking, when listening is wiser. Pause before you fill the silence most people speak to. Respond. The Stoic listens to understand in a world that rushes to interrupt, to correct, to prove. Listening is radical. Listening is rare. Listening is power. Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. Yet so often our mouths outrun our minds. We speak to defend ourselves, to control the narrative, to protect our ego, but in doing so, we often miss the truth that silence reveals." Try this. Next time you feel the urge to jump in, don't. Breathe. Stay with the discomfort of silence. Watch what emerges. You may learn something about them, about the situation, about yourself. Because listening isn't weakness. It's wisdom. It's restraint. It's the decision to value understanding over reaction. Speak less, mean more, and let your silence speak volumes. Complaining about things you won't change. Break the cycle of powerlessness. We all vent. But when venting becomes a habit and not a gateway to action, it turns into a form of self-sabotage. Complaining feels like release, but often it's reinforcement. Reinforcement of the belief that we're stuck, that the world owes us, that we are victims of everything and authors of nothing. The Stoic rejects that story. Marcus Aurelius never wasted breath lamenting what he refused to confront. He observed. He acted. He accepted. So ask yourself, is this something I'm willing to change? If yes, do it. If no, drop the complaint. Because to complain about what you tolerate is to declare your own powerlessness. Let this be your quiet practice for the next 90 days. When tempted to complain, pause. Turn the complaint into a choice, or into action, or into silence. You'll find something sacred in that pause. Your power returning, your peace re-entering, your clarity resurfacing. Complain less, create more. Taking things personally. Detach your worth from the world's weather. Someone said something. They didn't respond. You weren't invited, they misunderstood you, and suddenly your entire piece is hijacked. The Stoic doesn't deny emotion, but they discipline interpretation. Not everything is about you. In fact, most things aren't. People act from their own stories, their own wounds, their own perceptions. And when you take it all personally, you hand over your peace to strangers. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." So stop assigning meaning to every word, tone, look, delay. Stop making others the authors of your emotional state. For the next 90 days, when something stings, ask yourself, is this really about me? Or is it their projection, their wound, their moment of thoughtlessness? Detach, not from people, but from interpretations that bind you to pain that isn't yours. Let others do what they do. You stay rooted in who you are. Because peace doesn't require the world to be gentle. It requires you to be grounded. 10. Seeking revenge. Instead of practicing forgiveness, break the chain. When someone wrongs you, the impulse is to get even, to make them feel what you felt, to strike back, not with justice but with ego. But the Stoic knows, revenge is a second injury, not to them, to you. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Forgiveness is not forgetting. It's freedom. It's the refusal to chain your peace to someone else's past. You forgive not because they deserve it, but because you do. You deserve to walk forward unchained. You deserve to live beyond the wound." So for the next 90 days, whenever resentment rises, breathe. Don't fuel it. Don't feed it. Watch it pass. Let go of revenge. Hold on to your power. Living without self-inquiry. Ask better questions. Live a better life. Most people live on autopilot. They react, they perform, they chase. But they rarely pause to ask, why am I doing this? What do I believe? Who am I becoming? The Stoic life is not passive. It is examined. It is reflective. It is conscious. Socrates said, "The unexamined life is not worth living," and Stoicism carries that torch forward. So make space for self-inquiry. Ask questions that disrupt comfort. Ask questions that reveal your truth. Ask questions that don't flatter, but free. Every evening, reflect. Every morning, clarify. Throughout the day, realign, because when you live without inquiry, you live without intention, and a life without intention drifts. Ask more, know more, live deeper. Fearing solitude, find the quiet that rebuilds. We avoid being alone, not because solitude is empty, but because it's honest. In the silence, your distractions disappear. Your truth arrives. And if you've been running, it finally catches you. The Stoic doesn't fear solitude. They embrace it, because they know solitude isn't loneliness, it's alignment. Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself, he led an empire and still carved space for inner dialogue. So for the next 90 days, sit with yourself. No screen, no soundtrack, no escaping. Let the quiet stretch. Let it sting if it must. Then let it soften you, shape you, return you to center. Solitude is not isolation. It's intimacy with the only person you can never leave. Ignoring mortality. Remember what truly matters. This is the final habit to eliminate, the habit of forgetting you'll die. It sounds harsh, but the Stoic sees it as a gift, because when you remember death, you remember life. Seneca said, "Let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life, not to live in fear, but to live in focus." For the next 90 days, let this guide you. If today were your last, what would matter? Who would you forgive? What would you stop tolerating? What would you say? You don't get forever. And that's what makes now sacred. So stop wasting time. Stop postponing meaning. Live like your time is precious, because it is. And if you remember that, you'll stop fearing death. you'll start honoring life. Conclusion: peace is not found. It's chosen. Peace isn't a place. It's not a vacation. It's not something you arrive at once life gets easier. Peace is the discipline of letting go, of choosing stillness when chaos tempts you, of eliminating what doesn't belong in your soul. Let's remember the 13 things we release to reclaim peace. The need to always be right. Comparison me, the illusion of control for overthinking. The addiction to approval, multitasking. Speaking when listening is wiser. 8. Complaining without action, taking things personally. 10. Revenge. 11. Living without inquiry. 12. The fear of solitude. 13. Forgetting death, let them go. Slowly, daily, imperfectly, but intentionally. You don't need to be anyone else. You just need to be fully you, beneath the noise. And if this message met you where you needed it, if it helped you breathe slower, think deeper, or feel stronger, I invite you to subscribe to Stoic Zen, not for noise, but for truth, not for hype, but for alignment. Until next time, stay still, stay wise, stay true.